are entering again into the area of the need for you to have assurance of being able to let go of yourself as you see yourself and recovering the self, the one and only self, your godly being that God has created you from, one with God. And God will address this kind of thing, knowing the trouble it is and of the relevance of this to prayer life. And so let's indulge in this final episode or so on what God is going to say you in order to bring you this encouragement. And again, you'll find it in the footletter of Notes Divine. All you have to do is type in that first line, which is "Forsake not thy golden core," and up it'll come for you in the magic of computer land. Here we go. This is God now talking in the footletter of Notes Divine. One of the many messages, over 5,000 messages, because this has been going on since 1998. We're into 15 years of receiving God's messages every day. And this is one of the great treasures that they are. Now God begins, "Forsake not thy golden core that upholds the universal cry for healing." God is saying to you, give up the forsaking, the abandonment of your golden core, which will bring you into the awareness of your oneness with God and all of God's children in a universal healing. That this is what God's children are all looking for, frequently unknowingly, because either we're in a state of love and giving it away, which comes from that soul of yours that's one with God, or you're in a state of calling for love. And you're calling for love because you have walked away from the awareness that it exists. And God starts this by saying to you, "Forsake not thy golden core, that marvelous, marvelous, divine, godly soul that's you, your golden core, one with the golden core of God. Forsake not thy golden core that upholds the universal cry for healing." This is where your healing and all of God's children are going to receive their healing, by recovering their golden core. And he goes on now to explain this, or she goes on, because you know, folks, that God has shown me that there is a male and female, there is a mother and father God, and it has been hidden from us for thousands of years that Mary is Mother God. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is Mother God. And Jesus is Father God. Or Mary is the Queen of Heaven, and Jesus is the King of Heaven. That phrasing is also used. And you can look that up on the website too, because you'll see all of the statements by Jesus about his mother, about Mary. Well, here we go. "Forsake not thy golden core that upholds the universal cry for healing." You have to get back to it. "Lord, you've told me that I have forsaken you, and I see the misery that I'm in, and I choose to listen to your instruction because I don't know how to abandon the forsakenness, but I choose to let you help me to recover my golden core. I leave it to you to recover my golden core, because I want to be part of your healing mission and the return of all your children." That's a suggestion of how I would pray it, but I'm only showing you that because it's important that these lines are prayed, It's not just reading them all, forsake not thy golden cord that upholds the universal Christ, or saying the Father's Prayer, O our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come ever. No, that's not what it is. God is instructing you to act on this because he has made you ready to act on it. Within is the God of love, calling for you to absolve yourself, make yourself free, absolve yourself of sin and shame. Do you hear what God's doing in that line? You're judging yourself, and you're looking upon yourself as unworthy, something to be ashamed about. And God says, absolve yourself of it. And of course, where does God come from? On the cross. Forgive them, Father. They don't know what they're doing. It's the only judgment God makes of you. You don't know what you're doing. Never mind sin and shame. Sin simply means to miss the mark. Shame, you know what that's like. And God is encouraging you. You're on the wrong basis. That is not the way I look upon you. I made you to know your lostness because I couldn't make you as the original creator. I couldn't do that. And you're trying to be your own original creator and walking away from me and forsaking me. So be it. You have to do that in order to find out that there is no greater treasure than how I make you and the life that I provide to you. But you have to find that out. And you experimented with it. And you're lost because you don't know how to get back again. You have so lost the awareness of that human mind that it's me who has to bring you back. That's all that's happening here. Forsake not thy golden core that upholds the universal cry for healing. Within is the God of love calling for you to absolve yourself of sin and shame. Now God says that to you, and so now God's going to ask you a question. Get ready. Wherefore? Why would you hold on to this? I'm telling you to absolve yourself of sin and shame, and that the God of love is one with you, and all your own ideas about what you think you are horse feathers. God is saying that to you, and then he says to you, wherefore, why would you hold on to this? Now he has to encourage you to let go of it, because God knows what's being dealt with here is that you've got a belief that your beliefs are right. And God's pointing out, look at the misery that you've got. And look at the joy of who you truly are. It's feeding you support to be able to change. Wherefore, why would you hold on to this? Why not abandon these heartless fruits designed to cause suffering? Why wouldn't you abandon? That sin and shame is designed by the human mind to cause you suffering. That it's part of your own makeup that you would produce something like this, guilt and shame. Well, God says, no, it's erroneous to be able to do something like that. I didn't make you for that. You need to be able to shift away from looking at yourself with this way. You are love, and that's all because I made you that way. Now you're free to imagine that you're different, but you can't change how I made you. So God is giving us instruction on how to be able to recover our godliness, and we'll go further with this in the next segment.